Welcome. We are in the mountains in California. I found a nice little place for us to nest away. It's gorgeous. I've seen eagles flying right here. It's just so beautiful. Today, we are going to be talking about living our iconic lives and what that looks like for ourselves. What would our iconic self, what would the iconic version of ourselves do? What does an iconic life look like for ourselves? I'm not sure if you are aware, but I was diagnosed with MS 2.5 years ago. It's probably more closer to three, but 2.5 years ago is what I usually say because I can't keep up with all the months and stuff. But I had been yearning to live my iconic life. I had been wanting to step into a full life for myself. And I was scared. I really didn't know how to do that. And I was doing something that was so common for so many people, which is being busy, distracting myself from what I really needed to focus on because it was a way of me avoiding accountability, or it was a way of me tricking myself into believing that I was moving closer and closer to what I really wanted. And the reality was I was lying to myself and I was lying to others. I was doing a bunch of things that really just is irrelevant to just living my iconic life, living the life that I wanted to live. And it took me being diagnosed with MS and laying in a hospital bed before I had to sit with myself and face myself and say, oh my goodness, like life can change so quickly. You never know when your lease is up. You're not warned, you're not told. The lease just is up, And so for me, I knew that this next season of my life, I wanted to lean into the full highest version of myself and live a life that is really true and authentic to myself. And one of those things was, which this was inevitable because I was being really pushed energetically and from just the universe in general, was getting out of a cubicle. Working in a cubicle was literally killing me. It was destroying my body. I'm someone that has to express myself. I have to move my body. I have to move energy around. I'm a very high energy generating person. So my body needs to, energy needs to be released, right? So if I'm sitting down all day and I'm not able to move my body, exercise, dance, sing, those type of things, what happens is the energy gets stuck in your body and it ultimately causes things like anxiety. It just causes a lot of illness. It causes a lot of things that we're dealing with: depression, anxiety, MS, other autoimmune diseases, those type of things, because the energy has to go somewhere and it stays in our bodies. It stays in our bodies and it needs to be released. So long story short, I knew that working for myself was definitely a more favorable path for me. Not saying that's what everybody needs to do. That's not what I'm saying. I had a call last week with a client who booked me for a earth healing session. And I had a real conversation with her that I didn't see that she even needed to stay in entrepreneurship because of for her to sit in her genius did not require her to be an entrepreneur. To sit in her genius, she could take her geniusness and be in lots of different spaces and environments. So, like I said, it's not for everybody, right? So that was one thing, honoring myself in that right, regardless of what that looked like. And living in a place that feels good to my body, that allows me to externally express myself in many ways, like being out here in the mountains. My health has improved tremendously since I've been here, everybody. I went from not being able to get out of bed to having to take 3 and 4 naps a day to only being able to work 4 hours a day max, and that was pushing it, to now I am going all day long, nonstop. I'm climbing mountains for hours. I couldn't do that before. So I'm sharing my story to bring awareness around what does living your iconic life look like? What does that look like for you? I would love to hear. And I would love to hear if you feel like you're living your iconic life, if you're in line with the highest version of yourself. Now, what I will say is the highest version of myself is very low maintenance, but also very fly. So I really don't know what I'm doing with my look. I'm like playing around with some things. We're gonna get there, okay? We're gonna get there. Now, where I live, I haven't found a hairstylist, so that's kind of a little bit of an issue that I'm having. And I'm sure they're here. I just haven't found them. And to be honest with you, I haven't like put a lot of effort into it either. So, but I'm sure I can change that. I did find a barber that was able to like cut and like shape it up a little bit for me, a black barber and a black barber shop. So if there's a black barber shop, there's definitely a black salon, and there's probably a black beauty supply store somewhere. I don't go live very often. There's a reason for this, because I value you. I value my time. I value spending my time with individuals who are really ready to hear the conversations and information that I share. I don't just like throw myself out there anymore. I don't want to do that. I don't feel the need to do that. The iconic version of me lives a very peaceful life. So just like yourself, with anyone who encounters you, consider it an honor to encounter me as well. I like to come out into the hills and meditate and sit and rest and sit with myself. Being out here really does bring peace to my body. It calms my nervous system. Oh, my girlfriend just texted me. That's a whole nother conversation. So let's talk about that, okay? In the process of letting go of what no longer serves my life, it led to a spiritual awakening, which led to a sexual awakening. And I wasn't ready for a lot of things. I wasn't ready for a lot of things to be awakened. I wasn't. I just, you know what I mean? Because like letting go of things led to me looking at my life like, okay, there were so many areas of my life that didn't honor me. And sitting with that realization and how shocking that was. And when I think about it now, it makes me want to cry, like how I sat for 20 years living a life that I thought was, I knew I wasn't happy. I just didn't know how to fix it. And at some point I realized that fixing it required me just to let go of a lot of stuff, that I had to go through every area of my life and say, does this honor the highest version of myself? No, get rid of it. Does this honor the higher version of myself? No, get rid of it. And at the end of the day, as I mentioned, I found myself with like an empty slate and looking like, wow, there was no area of my life that honored me. Hi. I'm over here talking. I say, hello, you're so beautiful. Thank you. I just subscribed. Thank you. I'm so happy you're here. Let me know if you have any questions. Now, with that said, I'm in the season of rebuilding and filling up those spaces with things that do align with the highest version of myself. And that hasn't been easy though. Because I realized like I have to take my time and I have to really look at the choices and the decisions that I'm making and say, does this fully align with myself? In the midst of that, as I mentioned, as I was letting go of things and releasing things, I realized also that I had to look at how I wanted to partner in this next season of my life. And I knew that I could not partner the same way. I knew I couldn't continue the patterns. I wanted something different that fully aligned with the highest version of myself. I wanted a partner who fully aligned with the highest version of myself, who challenged me to challenges, just the pure existence of that person challenges me to be and have space to be great, right? And vice versa. And after unraveling a lot of what that looks like, I couldn't figure out how to partner with a man anymore. Like I literally was trying to create massive long equations of how I can make that work for myself. And I realized at the end of the day that if I have to create, mathematician equations of possibilities of what that could look like, that probably that's not the road for me to take. And I had to sit with that. And that was very shocking to the system. Like I think I was like, you know what I mean? When I had that realization. And I think part of it is because I felt like I wasted 20 years of partnering in a way that didn't honor me. And then it explained so much as to why I never liked dating. I avoided dating. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't fun for me. And I didn't understand why. I just thought in general, I didn't like to date. And that wasn't it at all. I just didn't like dating men. That was it. And then once I stopped, things got more interesting and better for me. What would the iconic version of yourself do? What would your iconic version of yourself be doing right now? I'm going to give you one more beautiful view of all the mountains. We're going down there. You see that trail down there? We're going to make it all the way down there. All the mountains. Ooh, don't fall. So, as I was sharing, what would the iconic version of yourself be doing right now? Are you doing exactly, oh, look how beautiful this is. The iconic version of myself will be doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Getting out with nature, absorbing its beauty, and being grateful and thankful and being present in that right. I'm going to keep telling my story, sharing my story until someone would love to mutually share as well. I have found that YouTube and TikTok are two different environments when it comes to lives. And I'm just learning, the culture here and what you prefer and what you love. If you prefer to listen more than, chat or things like that, I totally understand and respect that. The iconic version of myself is open, hearted, and present. I am working to find a balance between balancing that and also feeling like sexy and bold. And I'm struggling with that a little bit. I'm being quite honest with you. But I'm working through that. The iconic version of me is transparent. Look how beautiful this trail is. Look, can you see? It's just stunningly gorgeous. The bench that I was sitting on, the gentleman who built that bench for his mother and worked with the city to put it here up on the trail, was sitting on the bench when I came up here earlier, and I got a chance to meet him. He lives in Seattle, and he comes out here to pay respects to his mother and just to sit on the bench and just to remember her. And I got a chance to talk to him. That was so cool, and he was just a beautiful, open soul. Let me share something with you. I was talking to my friend the other day about this, about how the part of people that we receive, that we experience, is a reflection of ourselves. And when people say we attract who we are, that's facts. And it's hard to hear because we may not necessarily attract the best of people. And it's hard to sit with the fact that the energy we are receiving is the energy that we're putting out. But it makes more sense. It's hard to sit with that reality of ourselves, right? And that, because most of the time we see ourselves as wonderful people or okay people, or not people that, or people who are more involved or evolved than other people. But the reality of it is there's areas of our life that we're not aware of. And once we have awareness in what those areas are that we need to shift in a way that supports how we want to show up in the world and receive in the world, that's when we start to experience a different part of people. And I had this realization late last year, I did a lot of work on myself and just sitting in a different space within myself. And what I noticed is the part of people that I get to receive and experience is a different part of people than I used to experience. For example, the gentleman that I met up on the bench, I got to see the most vulnerable, open, transparent, loving, generous part of this being. Yes, are there different elements and parts of who he is, right? And there might even be a part of him that I probably wouldn't like. But I got to experience a part of him that I wanted to experience. Why? Because I worked on myself to embody, to embrace, and to rest in the parts of myself that I wanted to bring forward. And therefore, I bring those elements forward in other people. Now, had I met him 8 months ago, I may have received and experienced a completely different part of him because I was not where I am now. Because I am rested, because I am open, because I'm vulnerable, I get to experience those things in other people now. And it's so beautiful. It's what I wanted. To be honest with you, it was my dream. It's my dream. And it makes me kind of emotional to think about it. I remember someone asking me, Latoya, if the world was perfect and what is your dream? If you could do anything, what would it be? And for me, it was creating and cultivating a space where people felt so safe that they could just be. The inner child to glow, to feel safe enough to glow, to open up, and to be creating spaces like that now mean the world to me because I didn't think that I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know how difficult it was going to be to create that, right? And what I realized and what I learned is that this was not anything that I really had to do outside of myself. It was about becoming. That's all it was. It was becoming that person, just becoming. It was me working on myself. You know? It's fascinating. It's fascinating. So here's my question for you. What would the iconic version of you do? Oh, look how pretty this is. It's beautiful. Thank you, Mother Earth. Every day, when I wake up or when I'm making decisions that may be hard, or if I want to reset my day or set my day, I always ask myself, what would the iconic version of myself do right now? You know, if I need to make a decision and I'm not quite sure, what would the iconic version of myself, what decision would the iconic version of myself do? Make. This helps me honor myself in the moment because we're being pulled left and right. And when I stop and ask myself this question, I find that most of the decisions that I make every day are not even my decisions. They're not even things that I want to do. They're things that I feel expected to do. And they don't really honor my body. They don't honor my spirit or my soul. And that's why maybe in the moment I feel unrested. And to get myself back into alignment, I ask myself this question. What would the iconic version of myself do right now? The iconic version of myself right now would be walking out with nature. Okay, that's what I go do. The iconic version of myself would be playing checkers with my kids. That's what I go do right now. The iconic version of myself would be meditating. That's what I go do right now. The iconic version of myself would feed myself a great meal loaded with vegetables and love. That's what I go do right now. Goddess left us a question. Oh, I love this. Thank you, Goddess Bloom. Let me read your response. On Sundays, I call myself a goddess of comfort and joy. Ooh, I love that. I always do something that I can share with someone that will either bring comfort and or joy. Ooh, I love that. That is profound. Thank you for sharing that. Nothing big. Today, I'm baking a cake for a friend. Ooh, I love that. It's going to bring comfort and or joy. I love that. That is deep. Let me read this again because I think you just shared something I definitely want to embody in my life. So, on Sundays, I call myself a goddess of comfort and joy. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I read it again and it brought up something different. Okay, got it. Ooh, I like this. So you're embodying the fact that you are the goddess of comfort and joy. You provide this for people. I love that. I love that. There's a lizard. Just saw a big old lizard. So therefore you go out and you spread comfort and joy in the community. I love that. I love that. I love that for friends, family, and community. That's amazing. I love that. Ooh, that's deep. You inspired me. Thank you for sharing that. Huh. I guess I'm the goddess of iconicness. I am the goddess of iconicness, of icons. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. I love that. Who are you? I'm not just Latoya. I'm the goddess of icons. You are spreading comfort and joy over here for sure. I love that. I love that. That was fun. I love that. You are the goddess of comfort and joy. I love that. Here's another great view. We're headed down that way, get closer and closer. I love my followers. I love my subscribers. Y'all teach me. Y'all really raise me in many ways. I learn from you, and I'm blessed to have subscribers and followers who are way smarter than me. Many of you have become friends. I have many of my mentors are a lot of my subscribers and followers from TikTok, actually. A lot of my mentors to this day. And friends who are reflective of this next season and support this next season have come from TikTok. And I'm not on TikTok anymore. I left TikTok. And actually, it was a really good decision because when I tell you my level of ability to sit with myself has completely shifted. My nervous system has calmed down tremendously. I can focus. I can read books. And actually read the book. All right, now we're leaving the shady part. Now we're walking into the sun. It's only about 55 degrees here, which is, it might be a little warmer in the valley. So let's say 65 degrees, but it's hot because the sun shines so bright here, big and bright. It feels hot. So thank God it's not 100 degrees here. We would feel like we were melting. So yeah. This temperature is really great for MS. This is one of the reasons why I moved here, because I can actually live a life and move around and not feel like my symptoms are getting the best of me. I want to say thank you so much. Oh, we're past time, but I want to start wrapping things up. We are scheduled for 30 minutes today, and I'm just so thankful that you spent this time with me. And I will make it priority to go live at least for 30 minutes on Sundays in the mornings as I'm out in the woods and spending time together in that space. So anyway, I love you, superstar. I want to thank you for being here with me. And if you have any last minute questions, I would love to hear them before we wrap up, or if there's anything that comes up in your spirit that you want to share, I would love to hear from you. So I'll stay on for another maybe 20 seconds or so and see if anything pops up in the comments. And then we will go about our day and have a wonderful day. So, all right. This is the trail we're on now. There's a lot of sun here and some people walking there. Oh crap, almost fell. It's a big old rock. Oh, there's a hole. I like to look in holes. I like to look in holes. For some reason, I don't know. It's just like a thing. If I see a hole, it doesn't matter how big the hole is or how small it is. I just want to see what's in it. So anyway, love you, superstar. Have a great day. Thank you for spending this time with me, blessing me, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.